Have you ever wondered why God, being all-powerful, doesn't just defeat Satan and the fallen angels? This is a question that has intrigued humanity for centuries, and today, we are going to delve deeper into this mystery. If you think the answer is simple, I guarantee you will be surprised by the truths revealed that we will explore throughout this video. And I'm telling you, you can't miss any details, because the answers you will find here can completely change the way you view evil, suffering, and God's purpose. To truly understand what is behind this complex issue, it is important that you watch until the end. Each point is fundamental to clarifying this great spiritual mystery. But before we start, leave your like and subscribe to the channel. This not only helps strengthen the community, but also ensures that you don't miss out on any new content that can answer your questions about faith and spirituality. Furthermore, your like is a way of saying that you value deep and thoughtful discussions like this. Prepare yourself for a journey of understanding that goes beyond what you imagined. So stay with me, and let's discover together why God allows evil to continue longer than many of us would like. Are you ready? Let's go. The central question is intriguing. If God is omnipotent and good, why doesn't he simply defeat Satan and the fallen angels? After all, if he has all the power of the universe in his hands, why allow evil to exist? This is a question that echoes in the minds of many, and although it may seem simple, the answer is deeply complex. There is a greater purpose to the game, something that involves more than we can see at first glance. In this video, we will delve into the reasons why God does not eliminate evil immediately and what this means for humanity. And stay until the end, because what you discover could change the way you see life and evil in the world. Did you know that Satan didn't start out as an evil being? That's right. Before he rebelled against God, he was known as Lucifer, the light bringer. He was one of the most beautiful and powerful angels ever created, with a prominent position in heaven. But what led this magnificent being to become the enemy of God? The problem started with pride and ambition to be equal to the Creator. Satan, using his free will, chose to rebel. But what about the other angels who followed him? Were they deceived, or did they also make their own conscious decisions? This is just the beginning of the story. Keep watching, because we're going to reveal how this rebellion began and what was really going on. Free will is a fascinating concept. God could have created beings who worshipped him without question, who always did what he wanted. But he chose to give both angels and humans the freedom of choice. And with this freedom came the risk of disobedience. Why would God risk that? Simply because true love and obedience only have value when they are offered freely, without imposition. Think about it. If God forced everyone to follow his orders, what would be the point of love, faith, and obedience? However, freedom of choice also brought painful consequences, such as Satan's rebellion. But there's a bigger reason for this freedom, and I'll reveal more about that soon. You will be surprised. Imagine, the fallen angels led by Satan are figures that provoke fear and mystery. But who are they really, and what is their role in the world? They were not required to follow Satan. Just like him, these angels made a conscious decision to rebel. But why did he do it? The answer may surprise you. Many of them were seduced by the promises of power and freedom that Satan offered. They believed that by defying God, they would have something to gain. However, the consequences of his choices were devastating. Today, these fallen angels play an active role in the fight against humanity, trying to turn us away from God. And you'll want to understand how this affects your personal life. So stay with me until the end, as I'll explain how this all connects to your everyday life. The question many ask is, if God is so powerful, why does he allow Satan and his followers to continue to exist? Is God waiting for something? The truth is that, in his wisdom, God sees far beyond what we can imagine. There is a divine purpose in allowing evil to continue, at least for a time. The Bible shows us that God is not indifferent to suffering and evil, but he has a plan that includes redemption and justice. And here's the key point. This plan doesn't happen in our time, but in God's perfect time. What is coming is much greater than a simple elimination of evil. It is a complete transformation of the universe. And I'll tell you more about this to come, so don't leave now. Satan has a peculiar role in Scripture. He is the accuser. He tries to turn us away from God and makes us question our faith. But why does God allow him to continue to act? The answer lies in humanity's own story of redemption. Satan actually serves as a test of our faith and character. Their actions reveal both the weakness and spiritual strength we have. And God, in his infinite patience, uses even Satan's evil interests to bring about something good in the end. Did you know that? Yes, even evil can be used for the greater good. But that doesn't mean Satan will get away with it. Continue until the end, and I'll explain to you when it's like this just. God's patience is a theme that appears repeatedly in the Bible. God is slow to anger and quick to forgive. But why is he slow to act against Satan? There is a very special reason for this. God is waiting for the right moment, the moment when all justice will be done once and for all. And although it may seem like evil is winning, the truth is that God already has a plan to definitively defeat Satan. When will that moment be? The Bible gives us clues about the final judgment, when Satan will be defeated once and for all. If you want to know more about what will happen at this great event, stay tuned. Suffering is something that we all face at some point in our lives. But have you ever stopped to think about what the meaning of this suffering is in God's plan? Evil and pain often make us question why God allows these things to happen. But suffering can be a powerful tool in the divine plan. He shapes us, teaches us, and brings us closer to God in ways we might never understand without experiencing hardship. I'm not saying that suffering is good, but that God can turn it into something good. If you are willing to listen until the end, you will be shown how this is part of a larger plan of redemption. The perspective of modernity is something that challenges us to think beyond the present. As we sit here, trapped in time, it is difficult to understand why God allows Satan and the fallen angels to continue to exist. God's patience, however, is linked to a purpose that goes far beyond our immediate vision. What appears to be a delay to us is, in fact, part of a divine plan of redemption and justice that involves eternity. God is not just concerned with the here and now, but with an eternal purpose. When we look at things from this perspective, we realize that evil, however painful it may be, will not have the final say. God does not force good. He gives us freedom of choice, both ourselves and the angels. If God automatically eliminated evil whenever it arose, we would be living in a world where choice would not exist. And without choice, love and permanence would hold no real meaning. It is this freedom, even with its risks, that makes human and angelic existence something unique and precious. True confidence and steadfastness arise from freedom, and God values that deeply. And it is exactly this freedom that puts tension in the narrative of evil. Why doesn't God force good? Because he wants the good to be chosen. Therein lies the great beauty and the great mystery of the divine plan. But what about divine mercy? Does God expect redemption even from Satan and the fallen angels? This is a question that provokes deep reflections. God's character is merciful and patient, and his willingness to forgive is unlimited. However, the scriptures make it clear that Satan and his followers made a definitive choice. They turned against God irrevocably. Still, this history of rebellion and evil is not beyond God's control. On the contrary, he is using this same rebellion to carry out his plan of salvation for humanity. Let's explore this idea further, because what comes next will surprise you. The existence of evil raises a crucial question. Can good only exist where there is an alternative to evil? This is one of the reasons why God allows evil to continue to exist for a time. Without the possibility of evil, good would not be a true choice. However, this does not mean that evil will always have its place. The Bible assures us that one day evil will be completely eradicated. But until that day, God calls us to make a choice. Will we follow the path of good, which he offers us through his love and grace, or will we be seduced by the empty promises of evil? This choice is ours, and it defines not only the present, but our eternal destiny. And if you want to understand how this choice affects your life now, Keep watching because the impact is greater than you imagine. At the center of the entire battle against evil is the role of Jesus. Through his life, death, and resurrection, he has already defeated the power of evil. The victory over Satan was won on the cross, but this victory has not yet been fully manifested in the world. So why do we still see so much evil around us? Because we are living in a time of already, but not yet. Jesus won, but we are still waiting for the day when this victory will be fully revealed. And that day is coming. Want to know when this will happen? You won't want to miss what comes next because the end of this story is spectacular. The mystery of divine exception also leads us to ask why God does not immediately age to destroy Satan and the fallen angels. God, in his infinite wisdom, chooses the perfect moment for each action. God's time is not our time, and his actions do not follow our human logic. He allows evil to continue for a time to fulfill a greater purpose. This is one of the reasons why evil is not destroyed immediately. God is waiting for the right moment when his entire plan of redemption is realized. And believe me, this plan is perfect. If you're curious to know how everything will unfold, continue until the end of this video. Now, regarding the final victory of good, the scriptures make it clear that that day will come. Evil will be defeated once and for all, and Satan and his followers will face their final fate in the lake of fire, as described in the book of Revelation. But this victory will not just be a destruction of evil. It will be the revelation of a new heaven and a new earth, where justice and peace will reign forever. This is the final destiny of all those who choose to follow God. The final victory of good is not just over Satan, but over all evil that afflicts creation. This includes the pain and suffering you face today. Believe me, there is greater hope, and it is closer than you imagine. Why do some fallen angels not return to God? This is an intriguing question, and the answer is related to the gravity of your choices. Just like humanity, angels also have the ability to make choices that can lead to rebellion or obedience. However, unlike humans, angels have a much deeper understanding of who God is. When Satan and the fallen angels rebelled, their decision was final and irreversible. They did not fall by mistake, but by a conscious and deliberate choice. This is the reason why your covenant with God was irreparably broken. Want to know more about the impact of this choice? Stay tuned, as the revelation that comes next will tie up many loose ends in this narrative. Satan has a power over humanity that raises many questions. Why does he have so much influence over this world? The answer is linked to the fall of man. When Adam and Eve sinned in the Garden of Eden, they opened the door for evil to enter the world. Since then, Satan has acted as the prince of this world, trying to turn us away from God. But its power is limited. He cannot force anyone to sin, but he can deceive, seduce, and tempt. Satan's true power lies in his ability to make us doubt and lead us away from the truth. But there is good news. Satan's power is temporary, and his defeat has already been guaranteed by Jesus. If you want to understand how to resist these influences, stay with me until the end, because there is a powerful answer to this. The Christian hope is that one day all evil will be destroyed. That is God's promise, and that is what we trust. Evil will not have the final say. Final judgment is reserved for Satan and his fallen angels, and they will be destroyed forever. For followers of Christ, this is a reason for great hope, because we know that, despite the difficulties and suffering presented, good will triumph in the end. The definitive destruction of evil will be an event that will renew all of creation. Do you want to understand how this destruction will happen and what it means for you? Don't worry, because I'll still show you the details of this epic moment. Looking at everything we discussed, there is an important lesson we can take away from this story. God allows evil for a time, but he has control over everything. Evil is not the end of the story, it's just a chapter. In the end, justice will be served and evil will be eradicated once and for all. Meanwhile, we are called to resist evil, to make choices that bring us closer to God, and to trust in his promise of ultimate victory. What can we learn from all this? That evil, however devastating it may be, has no power over those who infuse it with God.